happy that we have a quorum. And I also see that we have our Captain Tolson, new to the 6-8 precinct. Welcome to Bay Ridge. We have two applications present this evening. The first is an application for a new liquor license for wine, beer, cider, which was submitted for Luann's Coffee Bar, Inc., located on the first floor of 7405 3rd Avenue. The attorney is Anthony Caraballo from 111 Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn. The principals for this establishment are Louis A. Garcia Maldonado, Vice President, and Bridget Garcia, the applicant. The hours of operation are listed. Monday through Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. For this Monday and Wednesday, the music is from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. The kitchen is from 8 a.m. till 12 a.m. Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. Music from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. The kitchen from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. Music from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. Now, that may have been an error since the music will outlast the designated hours of operation. The kitchen from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. Sunday, 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. Music from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. The kitchen from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. Now, I'm just going to pause for a moment because I believe that the owners are present. Josephine, true?
Yes.
Okay, and do we have any residents present also?
There's one, I believe one resident is present, Barbara.
Say that again?
One resident, I believe I saw is present.
Okay, so I'm going to give my report, and then I'll open it for discussion to the board, and then I will allow the owner to speak and the residents to speak as well before we take this SLA application to a vote. Okay, everyone? And I'm going to assume that Mark Moss is going to mute everyone else for now. Yes?
Yes. His daughter is hosting.
All right, so I'm going to continue. The anticipated persons occupying the premises are 50. There will not be promotional events or private parties, and there will not be hired security. And somebody's moving around at a microphone. Thank you. There will be a DJ and background music used. There will be no outdoor space used. In addition, the application states that it acknowledges that the doors and windows need to remain closed while the music is on, and they need to follow the New York City noise regulations. Photos of the interior were included and showed tables and chairs which were stacked, countertops bare, and several photos of doors and hallways with several places under repair and painting. There is no image of what this establishment would look like as a finished product. New York City building inspectors responded to a complaint in September 2019 as a soundboard was being installed without a permit. No violation was found as a permit was not needed for this work. It is noted that a resident reported that the board was assumed to prevent anyone from looking into the establishment from the outside. New York City building inspectors attempted to gain access to the premises again on February 25th and February 28th, 2020, regarding the lack of a building permit for construction. They could not gain access. There is no certificate of occupancy included, and it is stated that this mixed-use building does not have one. Now, I know that the police captain is here, and I'm sure he'd like to give a report. There is adverse history for this premise. The New York City open data with 311 phone calls from 2010 to the present. There was one phone call in 2011 for double parking. There have been 20 calls from this past September 2019 through January 31st, 2020. Some calls are numerous on the same evening, and for all I know, it could be from the same person. I do not know. For all of these calls, the complaint is loud music and partying. Some of these calls are made as late as 12:37 a.m. Now, mind you, Luann is a coffee bar. This is after the soundboard installation inspection. This is also provided to us from the captain of the 6-8 precinct, Captain Conwell. Email from this captain dated January 3rd, 2020. The precinct conducted 2 visits there, observing alcohol on both occasions. The precinct inspected the business and found a fully stacked bar. The owner failed to produce receipts and records for the alcohol. Our police captain informed us that this is a storefront operating as a bar, unlawfully selling alcohol, and a party hall. Mostly on weekends, it's considered an illegal nightclub, by the way it appears. This establishment is not licensed by the SLA. January 3rd, 2020 is the date of the letter, and it was also the date of the second inspection. Multiple summonses were issued regarding unlawful dealings with alcohol, and much alcohol was destroyed by law enforcement. He also provided us with additional adverse incidents regarding this premise on February 1, 2020. There were 2 arrests following a serious physical altercation between patrons at this unlicensed premise. Upon police arrival, it was evident that alcohol was being sold, minors were consuming alcohol, thereby endangering the welfare of minors. There were no receipts or records of the business for inspection. There is no SLA license. That was repeated again. The use of marijuana was witnessed, and a taser and pepper spray were both recovered. The owner, Mr. Garcia, and the patron were arrested. Now, that portion was from, I just summarized the official police complaints, which you could see some of it posted right now on the PowerPoint. In sum, in consideration of the fact that there is no CFO for this building, that we do not have photographs of what the actual establishment will look like, that the application of submission has not included the New York City building inspector's resolution to the construction without a permit from this February, the disregard of the numerous 311 phone calls for the repeated complaints for noise for over a year and a half with no remedy, and the knowing illegal use of a premise as a bar with the continued sale of alcohol without a license, it leads me to have to bring this to the committee in serious consideration for us recommending this premise, Luann's Coffee Bar, to be approved for a liquor license. So I open this up now to the committee for any discussion or questions to Josephine and to the owners. I see that Bridget is here. Or the police captain.
Yeah, maybe the police captain, if he wants to comment first, Barbara.
Sure, absolutely. Captain? You have to unmute, Captain.
There's no audio.
I don't have no audio. No audio. There you go.
Now?
Yeah, there you go. Welcome, Captain.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is my third day here today. Getting right into it. I've been apprised of what's going on in the coffee shop. I am familiar somewhat. I may have to refer back to my community affairs guys. That's why I have them here. That obviously Cam Comwell has moved on, but I'm going to take over from what I'm seeing here. Is the coffee shop was basically running as an illegal social club. running after-hours parties. That's been addressed. There was arrest made, 20 complaints, 911 calls, multiple 911 calls. So I was asking them if an SLA report was done on them. I'm not sure anybody has that answer.
Yeah, Captain Conwell did mention to me that there was an SLA referral.
Yeah, so if anything happens in even in a licensed premise, we would fill that out too if it's one of those qualifying factors. So summonses here. I mean, this place. I'm going to turn it over to my community affairs. He can tell you more about because he was there personally of what happened. I mean, if we're going to go right to these incidents.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi guys, it's Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
You had mentioned there was 2 arrests made in February. We had it was a 911 job. We had numerous people in the establishment, underage people. 2 arrests were made. You mentioned there was a taser. We did recover a taser. You know, and that was just like the final straw, basically. Leading up to that point, we had so many complaints. You know, we went in there. Summonses were issued. We broke up parties. You know, so you know, that day was like the final straw, and they shut down after that. You know, they couldn't open up again.
All right.
So the whole report pretty much is what we have done in the last few months. You read that over, Barbara. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, so the way I had it written up was accurate?
Yes, well, yes, that's what we provided you with that sheet.
Right. Just want to make sure that I didn't embellish, I didn't change it, I didn't leave anything out, because, you know, I will have to give a report to the official board at the official meeting, which will probably go over on Channel 1 or whatever, and I don't want any mistakes, so thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, officer?
That's it.
Oh, that's everything we have.
Okay, great. Anyone else from the board have anything to ask?
Well, perhaps we could ask the applicant maybe first to
Yes.
give a presentation, or do you want to go right to questions?
Well, you know, the board can ask a question and can also address the applicants.
Okay.
Anyone from the board like to ask a question to the officer or to the applicants?
It's me. It's Michael. So this place has not been open since February. Is that correct?
Correct. I don't know. I think it was open this past weekend, right? Maybe the police could share?
Okay, can you hear us now?
You hear us now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we observed this establishment was open last week for business. They were obviously weren't allowed to go into the establishment, but they were selling from like the door.
Food,
some coffees and
hamburgers.
food.
Yeah.
Yes,
It was open at least last weekend. Okay.
last week.
Yeah.
Any sign of coffee making?
They were selling beverages. I don't recall what they were though. Yes, and food like hamburgers, hot dogs, sandwiches.
Okay. All right. Bridget, would you like to, I just see Bridget.
Hi, nice to meet you. Yeah, everything that you guys mentioned is correct. But the problem is that my brother over here, actually the trouble that we have in the past is because we were just brand new in this and we were renting to somebody else the place. And this person, actually, we didn't even know what he was doing. So when he ran for a party over there, he told this guy not to bring anybody who's old, young, or 21 years. No young people, but this guy did it anyway. So we got in trouble and we had to assume the responsibility of that.
Right.
But anyways, after everything that we understood, the problems that we had, we decided to close it because we were not ready for it. So we decided to close it and not to open till we have any improvements because it was causing a lot of trouble, all of this. So now all the coronavirus came and everything, so we couldn't even move anything. So now we just recently, a couple of weeks ago, we just decided to open to make some, like he said, like the police said, some sandwich, hot dogs, hamburgers, some milkshakes, juice. Basically, that's what we are doing right now to see if we can make some profit because we haven't been making anything at all.
Right. Yes, I assume that having any business is very difficult right now, but you also understand that the subletting your business, and these people performing illegal activity by the very least of having alcohol, let alone being served to minors, the use of marijuana, then which leads to fights. That's all something that you were responsible for.
Of course, yeah, that we understand that, and that's why my brother also went over there when he received a phone call also from some people over there, so he had to go straight to the local to see what was going on over there. When he went there, he saw a lot of alcohol. He saw kids over there, well, young people. So he had to assume responsibility actually because he's the one who's managing right now the business for me.
And the landlord, because you are renting the store, correct? You do not own this building.
Exactly, that's correct.
There were at least 20 311 phone calls from September regarding the noise and disruptions. What was your response to that?
It had to be that because we were just putting everything together. The place wasn't developed for a bar. It didn't have the noise resolution that the city asked for it. So now we work already in that. So it's much better. We have no noise. And of course now the music won't be that loud like we had before. Because like I said, now we know already what's going on and how we can manage better this.
Yeah, just 1 second. Well, the noise board was from September, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But that's when the phone calls began, right after the noise board was put up.
Yeah, it had to be because on the weekends we were renting, like I said, we were renting the place for private parties. We were not opening to public at all. We didn't do something like that. But it was parties, private parties. That was the problem was.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because you are responsible. Every single day, every single night, you are responsible. It wasn't a one-day event. And we in Bay Ridge, on this committee, I don't know if you know the work of the community board. None of us here this evening on this committee, except for the police and Josephine, none of us get paid for this. We are residents of the neighborhood, probably just like you are. And one of the things that we do is to make sure that every single business and business owner is a responsible person who understands of the laws and respects our neighbors so that we do nothing but we do not have a negative effect on our quality of life.
Yeah, of course,
and as the person who has to run this meeting, I'm going to leave this open to the rest of the committee. It's very distressing to hear these things. So my question would be: is why would I want to trust you with a liquor license where you have not shown in the past, where you did not have a license, that you could not be responsible when you rented this out to someone else, when that was your responsibility to oversee them?
Yeah, like you said, we are responsible, which is true, but we didn't have the experience, and we were brand new in this business. You know what I'm talking about? So now, with everything that happened already to us, so now we know what can happen, and that, trust me, that affects a lot, like you say, to the community, and affects to our business, because if you guys are not happy, we're not gonna have any business anyway. If you guys are not happy with our place over there, we can't make business. So we have to make you guys happy, so we can work over there and we can operate over there.
Well, but we have not been happy for almost 8 months. Barring the last 2 or 3 months. The residents who live there have not been happy. So this was a responsibility, and speaking for them, but they are going to speak. We are very leery of passing this on to someone who could not take responsibility for something where they had control, and probably wanting to get an SLA license. Perhaps you should have looked into the rules and regulations before before this. So I understand that business has been terrible, but we have to maintain the quality of life and to make sure that everyone knows what you need to do before it happens and not after. So
I agree, but I mean, it's not been a long time that you had this problem. And like I said, it was because we didn't have any kind of experience and we didn't know that well the neighborhood. Even though anyway we will have the same problem if we don't follow the rules, right?
Right.
But right now, we're trying to do something better, something slower, something that is not too noisy.
Mhm.
In the past, like I said, we did already a big mistake trusting some other people that we shouldn't trust. Sometimes we never know. But yeah, now we have to be there in the place. If we are not there, nobody else is going to take care of our place.
But with you
My brother
being
knows that.
responsible, did you ever go back to check? I'm sure you were told about the reports. Did you ever go back to check?
Yeah, sure we went. We had some notice about the phone calls that they made and everything. So we were going over there to check everything. But like I said, we couldn't do anything about it because it was a third person.
Okay. All right, thank you. Committee, anyone else like to speak on this? Questions from the committee?
Yeah, Barbara, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
I want to ask the tenants, the applicants. Did your landlord know that you subletted the store to this third party?
Yeah, he knows that, and we had a contract with him also. In the contract said it that sometimes we're gonna have some private parties, and if it's okay with him, so he knew about that.
So you had his permission to sublet the premises to this third party?
Yes, it's in the contract.
And during all these complaints, was it the same person that you subletted to, or did you sublet to different people?
It was different people.
Well, that really doesn't help your case. I mean, you sublet to one person that gives you a problem, but now you sublet it to different people, and you had problems with different people. That really doesn't help your situation here, because you have a very extensive complaint record here for your premises. You really either have to do a better job. I wouldn't even sublet the place anymore. I mean, you're responsible with your business. Open it if you want, but to let somebody else run the business, I think it's a poor showing on you. It doesn't show me that you really want to run a business here in Bay Ridge.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right now, with everything that happened, actually, right now, the main thing that we want to do is food, because with this virus and everything, I mean, it's very hard that we're gonna have a lot of people together, so we won't even we are not thinking about that. So right now we're doing takeout food, delivery food, which is our principal, product right now. And we don't gonna rent anymore to anybody else. Trust me, because with this, we learned our lesson.
Barbara, are they applying for an SLA liquor license?
Yes, they're applying for the license. They didn't apply yet. It's applying for beer cider.
Okay, so they do intend to have liquor in this establishment.
Yes.
And what kind of music do they intend to have?
It says DJ and background.
DJ and background. So they are going to have liquor, and they are going to have the DJ music, which tends to get pretty loud, and that could cause another problem here.
See, but a part of my concern also is that the DJ promoted events really bring large crowds to a very small venue. And I'm very concerned about, hearing from residents who called in response to the public notice that the DJ crowds that were brought to this establishment were very disruptive to nearby neighbors and the community.
Okay, anyone else from the committee want to ask any questions?
I want to say something, Barbara.
Who's that?
Bridget,
Susan.
speaking about we, okay, so how many owners are involved in this enterprise? And is her brother, who brought the people in, Is he a part of the ownership?
No, she and the brother sublet this out to several different people.
Okay, so it's the brother and Bridget who are
Right.
going to run this place.
Correct, although the brother was arrested on February 1. So he was there for one of the events.
Well, it seems
Incidents.
as though they haven't learned.
Yeah, well, he went to check because he received some phone calls also from the people who was
Right.
renting. So then he had to run to the place to see what's going on there.
All right, we have Susan speaking. I'll let you speak, but if you step over each other, we're not going to get, okay? Susan, you want to just finish that?
I just want to say that, this started in September. And so it's happened quite a number of times. And there has to be some sort of a learning curve from September through the last situation.
Right.
It doesn't appear that there has been any learning curve. So if there hasn't been any from that time to now, why would we expect that they would have learned enough?
And everything has been closed from March 17th through now.
Well, anyway, from September through January.
So we're talking about right through the end of February, which was about 5 or 6 weeks before the shutdown.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right.
That's
Right.
All right, do you have a member of the public if the committee's questions are done?
Yes, I'll take a member of the community. I don't know who you are, but you can, one at a time, as one person speaks, you can unmute yourself and speak.
That's me. Can you guys hear me?
I can see you, I can hear you. What is your name?
Nicole Schneider. I'm a resident of Bay Ridge. I've been a resident since 2001, and I live next to the coffee bar. And I am definitely responsible for 2 of those 311 complaints. One was on December 7th at 2:40 a.m., not 2 a.m., 2:40 a.m., that we had a call in for noise. And we also called on January 25th at 1:12 in the morning for loud noise. I know that there's been karaoke, very loud music, there's been fights, and my understanding is that there's been lap dancing at the location, and you cannot see inside the location, which has always been a concern for me once I saw it open.
Is that the board? Is that the board that's there that blocks the view?
All the boards and even the windows, you can't see through at all, not through the doorway, nothing. And the only way I could see inside is when they had the door open. At one point, I walked by and I saw the door open. That's the only way I could see inside of that facility.
Okay.
And I live right next door, so I'm up and down this block every day. So there's been fights, and we feel that because they've been irresponsible in the past, that giving them a liquor license will allow them to continue to be irresponsible and have loud parties and keep me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, and I just don't want that. I have to go to work.
Okay. I just want to note for the record that this person was not the person who wrote to the councilman with the extensive letter suggesting that the soundboard was really a barrier so that you cannot see in. That was not the same person.
In addition, Barbara, there were 3 other residents who called in response to the public notice who were in opposition of the application.
Okay. Are there any residents that'd like to speak? Seeing there are none, may I ask the board what they would like to see in consideration that, don't go away, that the application itself was, that there was no C of O. We do not have photographs of what the establishment will look like. That the application did not include the New York City Building Inspector's resolution for the construction without a permit. And that was from this February. The disregard of the numerous 311 and 911 phone calls for the repeated complaints for noise over a year and a half with no remedy. Whether or not it was sublet, the Garcias are responsible. And they did say that they did know and they did stop in. And the knowing illegal use of a premise as a bar/nightclub with the continued sales of alcohol with a license and also that it was sublet to several different persons. I asked the committee's recommendation in the form of a motion regarding this application for a liquor license.
Barbara, if I may, I'd like to make a motion.
Go ahead, Sin.
I'd like to make a motion denying the application for this establishment based on the adverse history and the actions of the applicant. I don't think that they learned about business that well, and I think they will be a problem. And I would like to send a letter also to the SLA outlining all the adverse history and why we're denying this application. So my motion is to deny the application.
I second the motion.
Okay. Thank you. Josephine?
Want to do a roll call vote? Yes, we should.
Roll call vote, please.
Okay, Barbara Bellucci,
I agree.
Judith Collins,
She's muted.
Judy,
Yes, what do I have to,
do you vote in support, just yes or no?
I'm voting, I agree with the committee on their,
Great, thank you.
so I'm voting to support the committee recommendation.
Michael Festa,
Agreed.
is Marty Lentz, I didn't see her come on yet, no? Okay.
I'm here, but I came in halfway through the discussion, so I should probably not cast a vote.
Okay, thank you, Marty. Nick Leonardos,
Agreed.
Ryan Mahoney,
Agreed.
Susan Pulaski,
Agree.
Sandy Vallis.
Agree.
Is there any other committee member that I missed? That came late? Okay, Barbara.
Okay. Thank you so much. That concludes. When is the night? The night of the official community board meeting will be presented to the entire board is June 15th.
Monday, June 15th.
Okay. Okay. I thank you for coming, and as part of the recommendation of this committee, this SLA license has been denied. Okay. So the Garcias, if they'd like, their part of the meeting is complete and they can sign out if they choose. The second is O'Sullivan's Pub and Grub Limited, located at 8902 3rd Avenue, and it has applied for an alteration to the already existing liquor, beer, wine, and cider license that is already in operation. The establishment's corporation name is O'Sullivan's Pub and Grub LLC. The president is Bernadette O'Sullivan, and the attorney representing this establishment is Mr. Terrence Flynn Jr. from 444 Beach 129th Street in Bell Harbor. This establishment is known as a bar tavern, and the application for construction, because they are doing construction in changing the configuration of their establishment, was filed on February 7th, 2020, but it was administratively closed due to inactivity on April 7th, 2020. This project consists of an interior renovation of the bar restaurant area and the residential units on the second floor. Removal and replacement of all bar counters to its same location. Alignment of floors and ceiling height. New roof hatch and skylight. No change is proposed to the building use, occupancy, bulk, or footprint. The box was checked off certifying that all construction documents related to this application do not require a new or amended certificate of occupancy, as there is no change in its use, exits, or occupancy. This application was incomplete in its entirety, basically. No photos, no menu, no C of O, no floor plan, no certificate of public assembly. In the method of operation, it did note that there is the use of video, arcade, jukebox, and security. It noted that the business area is on the main floor in the basement and no outdoor use. There are no, there are no complaints on the 311 New York City open data. The community board office, up until I believe this evening or this afternoon, had not heard from the representative regarding this alteration. The board did send return receipt notification to the attorney on March 9th, stating that unless they complete the application and attend a hearing, a letter would be sent to deny this application. And until I believe today, no contact, communication, or follow-up had been made. Josephine, but you have made contact today, correct?
Yes, Dorothy had reached out. We had both reached out to the attorney, and he initially had asked for an adjournment till next month. We reached back out to the attorney and said we don't meet in the month of July and August, and then it would be held until the month of September, and we tried it numerous times. Dorothy reached out to the applicants, and so they're here tonight. It is, as I understand, a minor alteration application in that there's just some internal moving around of what's existing. So the applicant is here and perhaps maybe could explain a little bit more about what the notification to the board was about the alteration application.
I can tell you what the construction is we have plans. I don't know why you guys didn't get them, but I do have floor plans. I could shoot them over to somebody if you'd like right now. We did not put them in with the buildings department. We have the whole PAA set up in order to submit. We just didn't want to submit it, until we spoke to you guys and get the okay.
What's your name?
Matthew Bell. I'm the contractor, and that would be working on the establishment.
And my name is Annie O'Sullivan. I think, Josephine, that you had been in contact with my mom, Bernadette?
Yeah, Dorothy was.
Dorothy, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm Annie. Hi.
Yeah, she was in contact with the office. And she did explain that the alterations were minor and they were just moving a staircase, which will result in the difference of the floor plan, but that the business operation was going to remain the same.
Correct.
Yes. So basically, what we're doing is we are a gut reno. The apartments upstairs, they hadn't been lived in a long time. So basically, we're going to give that a facelift. Everything is pretty much staying where it is. The two apartments are remaining the same. The only difference that we're doing is there is a stairwell which cuts the bar and the restaurant in half. It doesn't give a good flow. It just doesn't aesthetically look right. We propose to move the stairwell that's sitting in the middle of the bar and the restaurant more towards the back of the restaurant. It'll give an open feel. You could actually see into the restaurant from the bar and vice versa. We feel like it'll just create a happier, brighter atmosphere in the bar.
Okay, so you will have the same number of tables in the back area. Do you plan to change anything about the current method of operation of the business?
The business will remain the same. The tables we might be able to gain some more tables because now we're going to have that open, so we could bring it down the runway. It's all in our proposed plans. Like I said, I could send you guys, we have full drawings. I have a whole PA doc. It's, demo plans, everything. When I came on earlier, I was asking, should I send them out to you guys? Don't know why you guys didn't get them. That was totally a lapse from us.
What's your timing on, what is your overall timing? Because your attorney had mentioned to us that, he felt that he wasn't ready at one point and could wait till next month. Our concern is that the board does not meet in July and August.
Yeah, so we were scared, obviously, like everybody else, because of the coronavirus, right? So we were nervous. We haven't been able to make money, and we're starting to reopen. So that was originally we were like, oh my God, what if we don't reopen again? We're really going to be stuck. You wind up dumping all this money into it, and then we can't make it back. But we're starting to reopen, and we see businesses are starting to get back on their feet. We think the construction should take anywhere from 5 to 6 months. So I think that will be okay by the time that all of New York opens up. It should be 5 to 6 months. Hopefully that everything gets back to normal. I pray. and by that time we should be able to just step right back into business. The business has been around. Obviously, you guys know O'Sullivan's has been there. Annie, how long since?
I just hit 98 years.
Okay, so almost 100 years we've been around. So
94.
we feel like our reputation will help us out.
So, I mean, so are you okay with waiting until September, and then you could show us your plans, and you could come back when, you know?
We wanted to, I think, sorry, Matt, to cut you off.
Go ahead, Amy.
I think there was a little bit of, a large bit of miscommunication between our lawyer and us. So we were hoping tonight that if you guys could see the plans, you know, being aware that you guys don't meet in the month of July, our hope was that, we could hand the plans over to you guys and get it approved before September, just so that we don't lose out on that time of construction, because everything is still so up in the air right now that I feel like now is prime time to start the construction. Matt, would you agree with that?
Yes, and essential businesses, basically construction just opened up last Tuesday. So before that, the construction couldn't have even started. So we were like, you know what? It's going to take 6 months. Like I said, hopefully by the time everything starts up again, we'll be ready to go. So that was our hope today. I actually had reached out to Annie today, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And then she had gotten a phone call, and that's why we're on with you guys and not our attorney.
we appreciate that.
And you know what? We you know, many of us have gone to O'Sullivan's because it is a very well-established business with really no adverse history at all. My question to the committee and to Josephine is that this application really was not filled out. You know, every time you apply, you need pictures, you need the C of O, you need menus. Nothing of that was in there at all.
Okay.
So do you think you could get that to us? You know,
we can.
Yes.
And maybe if you could get that to us even by our meeting is on Monday.
We'll get it to you.
Get up to the committee to discuss it, but you know, I mean, the absence of adverse history and minor alterations to the staircase, I think we'd like to see the floor plan and the menu, and just to give it a once over. I think that would be a good idea. Barbara?
Somebody speaking?
We have all of that, so we can, without a doubt, before Monday, get that over to you guys for sure.
Okay. So let's just say that we have that, okay? We have everything with that. So I'm going to say that that's all in the application. There has been talk that your first floor is being converted into a wine bar. What is the possibility of, or the truth, the veracity of that?
0%.
0%.
Yep, 0%.
0%. Because, you know, I'm not the only one who's heard this. I mean, Josephine Beckman has also heard this, that the renovation was going to include the idea that another person, perhaps coming in as a partner, perhaps coming in as a separate entity, was coming up to use the next floor as a wine bar. I also heard that it might be rooftop.
That is, if I could share with you guys the thing, my family's owned it for 94 years, and the things that I myself have heard, I'm like, I would love to know where that came from. It's going to operate that it's always operated.
From the person who knows the man who wants to do it. Okay? And this was 5 months ago, and Josephine heard it a couple of weeks ago.
That's not true.
Okay. All right. Committee, anyone have any extra questions for these owners and construction worker?
I have a question for Josephine. Josephine, would it be possible if we get the information by Monday, we can present this to the full board and just have the full board vote on it then?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's fine. You know, without significant, I mean, we did public notice. We had no negative calls about the establishment from neighbors. I think we had 2 positive calls on the application. And given that it's an existing license that is an alteration, I think if we send out the information, it's reviewed, we could certainly easily discuss this at the board meeting on Monday to not hold up their application.
That's why I asked, because, I mean, being that this establishment has been around for over 90 years, and there is no adverse history. It seems that we just didn't get the information in a timely manner.
Yeah, I think there was a little disconnect with the attorney, it seems, so.
I agree.
Okay, Josephine?
Yes.
So, do I, it's just so hard doing these meetings when you're not with the people that are around the table.
I make a motion to defer to the whole board on Monday.
Do you want to defer to the board for Monday, or do you want to do as we usually do, where considering that we would have the application in its completeness by Friday, that we deny the application unless the following stipulations are followed, the way we do with every application? Is that reasonable?
That's fine with me.
Okay.
I would agree with that, Barbara.
Okay, so, Annie, this is what we usually do, okay? It's sort of like a reverse approval, because you're gonna be coming in to see Josephine whenever it's safe to do so.
Okay.
To sign stipulations saying the following. So we're gonna deny the application unless you agree to the following stipulations. And they're a formula that we give to just about most places. Some are much more extensive, okay? So on the record, I'm going to say that the community board denies the application to, the SLA application to O'Sullivan's Pub and Grub unless the owners agree to the following stipulations. The premises will operate as a restaurant. A certificate of occupancy will be acquired, and/or a letter of no objection will be obtained. The owner or manager will be on site during all hours of operation, and then we'll have the hours of operation listed. The applicant will not sublet the premise. The doors and windows are to remain closed in coordination with any amplified music. The background recorded music remain below the level permitted by the New York City Noise Code. There will be no music on the outside of the premises. The licensee shall not use any promoter or have promoted events. There will be no smoking. And the applicant agrees that should it change its method of operation, it will give notice and meet with the community board committee at least 45 days in advance of any such change. Okay? Okay. So I have a motion on the floor for this. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. Josephine, will you call roll?
Okay. Barbara Bellucci,
I agree.
Judy Collins, Judy?
Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you. Michael Festa,
I agree.
Marty Lentz.
I agree.
Thank you, Marty. Nick Leonardos,
I agree.
Ryan Mahoney,
I agree.
Susan Pulaski,
I agree.
Sandy Vallis.
I agree.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you.
Okay. So with that, our meeting is on June 15th, and hope to see you all then. Thank you so much for participating, and to Annie, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you,
and
guys.
being with us.
Barbara, can I just ask you one question, just so I'm clear?
You can ask me, but I don't know the answer, but go ahead.
Sorry. So the meeting that you guys have June 15th, we don't need to be present. That's your making.
You don't need to be present. I will be.
And you guys need the C of O, the plans, and the menu by as soon as we can get them to you.
Yeah, as soon as you can.
And you can email them to us. You can send them via email, so you don't even have to come in. If you could shoot them in an email to us, I could then forward it to the committee.
Wonderful. And can I just get I'm sure I have it, but just to be safe, the email address again? I'm sorry about that.
Sure. It's BK10 at CB as in community board, .nyc.gov.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. If you'd like, you're welcome to join us on that Zoom, but you do not have to. Okay, and I'll just give this report with this denial with the stipulations and that you have agreed to the stipulations.
Okay, great.
Okay?
All right, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Guys.
Take care.
Have a great night.
And Barbara, there was a third item on the agenda that committee members may have seen. We're not talking about tonight. It's because the applicant made a request to adjourn until September.
Yes. And that was Body Brothers Corporation. It's the NB&M Deli on 6752 4th Avenue. So we're not doing that one this evening. Okay?
Okay.
All right, everybody.
We need a motion to adjourn.
Take care.
All right,
Bye
take
now. Enjoy.
Bye, everyone.
Motion to adjourn.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.